Okay, so Richard again from Love Brewing. Just wanted to talk through filtration, alcohol filtration, because we find from time to time that we get people who have got very sensitive taste buds, or just wanting to produce something even better all the time, just looking for ways of making better quality alcohol. Normally starts with people with the air still. So with the air still, we've talked about using the collector system there with the small carbon cartridge. We've run through that on the air still, so I'm not going to spend any time on this today, other than to say that obviously this does the job. It runs the alcohol through the carbon cartridge, and you've got an option of adding your flavouring to it afterwards. People are looking for the next step up, so I'll cover that. With three systems, we've got the Z filter, we've got the EZ filter, and we've got the inline filter. So we've got three options. My personal favourite is the Z filter, but I seem to have more problems using the Z filter with people not being able to operate it properly. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, because I'm hoping in the long run it will save me a bit of time, because people can see me actually doing it rather than spending a lot of time with them on the phone. So the Z filter, what have we got to do with the Z filter? Okay, this is the Z filter. As I said before, it's in the shape of a Z, and that's why it's called the Z filter. The alcohol starts here and it goes through the Z and out the other side. We've got two cap positions for the simple reason we've got to put the charcoal in there to start with. So we unscrew both of these two caps. I'm not actually going to do it, but in there we put a funnel and we take the charcoal, granular form, snip the corner and top up, move it across, top up. So the whole of this needs to be full of carbon. Don't over compact it. Slight tap, that's all it needs. If you over compact it, you'll find it will take forever for the alcohol to run through the charcoal. So once we've done that, screw the cap on, screw this one on. In the bottom we've got the mesh, but nothing else. And what we're going to do is we take this to our hose pipe, put that on the end of your hose pipe, switch it on full power, and the water will clean and activate the carbon. You'll hear it hissing and it bubbling, and keep running it for 3 or 4 minutes until all the water's coming through is lovely and clean, and also this has stopped hissing. Once we've done that, we've then got to get this ready for operation. We've cleaned the charcoal, we've activated it. We now need to get it ready for operation. So this will unscrew and this will go into place. We've got the grey washer in place in the lid. If you get any bits of carbon in there, it will leak. So make sure there are absolutely no bits of carbon. I always just wrap a bit of PTF tape around here as well. I think it's worthwhile. I think it's a good, because once it gets going, if it leaks, it's a nightmare. And remember, alcohol is thinner than water. So if there's any escape routes, your alcohol will find it. And in the bottom, we're changing the bottom fitting now to something slightly different. We've pushed out the mesh and we've got this one which is going to go in the bottom. So we have the grey washer. We're going to put a piece of white filter paper there. The white filter paper will just take out anything that might have just come through. It's a final filter. Then we put the mesh filter in place. Again, I put a little bit of PTF tape around here and then screw this on and make sure it's quite nice and tight. Okay? Now, when we put the alcohol into the bucket, remember what we've always said, the alcohol has to be less than 50% strength for it to work effectively. So we can use this to make sure that the alcohol in the bucket is less than 50%. As I've said to you before, I always run mine at 40% because I like to know once I've done it for good. I'm not having to change it ever again. I'm at 40% my alcohol. We attach this to the tap, and then that sits in the base of the lid in the hole. Now what we need to try and do as well is to try and make sure this is at right angles to our bucket and to the worktop so that it's straight. If it falls to one side, you'll find it can start to leak. So we then switch the tap on and let the liquid run through the carbon. The first bit is obviously going to be quite watery, so if you want to just take like a cupful and then put it back into the top again so it runs through. Now this will take about 6 hours to run through. You can get nearly 20 litres of alcohol through one sachet of that carbon. The carbon's around £4.50, so it's not dead expensive, but if you want to run 2 lots through, that's fine. As I say, you get about 20 litres to go through it. What I normally do is start it at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's finished by 9 o'clock in the evening, and then I like to put it through again. So I'll turn it up and run it down again. So I run it through the carbon twice. That way I'm getting cleaner and cleaner alcohol. So the other two systems we've got is the EZ filter and the inline filter. Now these are using compacted carbons. So this is the inline filter. You can see the amount of carbon we've got here compared with the small air still where the carbon cartridge was about this size. Now what we're going to do here is it runs in exactly the same way as the Z filter in position here. So imagine we've got tubing up to the tap and this is sitting in the top of the lid. The alcohol runs through the carbon into the collecting chamber. So really quite simple. Obviously soak it in hot water first before we use it, but as you can see, a lot simpler than the Z filter. The other system, oh, and price-wise, under £20. The other system is the EZ filter, and this is 2 containers. So in the top container we put our alcohol. In the base of the top container is the carbon cartridge. So it runs through the carbon cartridge into our collecting chamber, and we've got a nice little tap fitted onto it, which means that we can pour it straight into our bottles. So I'm just going to disassemble this so that you can see the workings of it. That's the base. So this is the carbon cartridge that's sitting in the base. It's the same carbon cartridge as we've got here. So it does the same amount of work. It's just a more convenient system in the sense that this is just screwed straight into the bottom, and from the top the liquid goes through the nut on the bottom, through the carbon cartridge into the collecting chamber. So that, as I said, is very, very simple. It's very easy to operate, but in my opinion, the alcohol that is coming through is not as clean as what we use on the Z filter. I'm not a great lover of the compacted carbon, but that's me. Okay, so you know the people at Still Spirits, they believe in it. I like the granular carbon. I like the Z filter. I think it produces a lovely clean alcohol. This one, not quite as good in my opinion, but the choice is yours.